I've been married for 31 years to the same man. My relationship when I was incarcerated was very strained because not only was he upset about the addiction and what I've done and how I didn't take care of anything so that I went to prison, but then I also just left him in a wake of disaster that he had to clean up after me. So the first 6 months that I was incarcerated, I got letters because he was so upset with me, and that was it. So it took first building back the trust just in there, just through letters, which is very hard to do, and then through visitation, building back the trust. And then when I came home, he would be scared if I was just going to Walmart. How much are you going to spend? What are you going to get? And the thing about that is, through the programs in prison and everything, that I realized he had a right to that. And I think that that was the biggest area because there was no trust there. He was scared for me to go to a store, because I had just ruined everything in the family. I can remember coming home, and you can get, because you've been gone and they've been doing their own thing, I can remember moving a trash can because I thought it was somewhere better in the kitchen, and it just upset him so bad because that trash can had been where he put it while I was gone. And you just don't know where it's going to come from because it could just be something that simple. I moved a trash can, and how did I have the right to move a trash can? I had been gone. And so you just have to work at it. And so, put the trash can back, and and then we talk about what's really bothering him, because apparently it's not really a trash can. But it was hard on him too, because he was doing his own thing, and now here I am, and I want to do this, and I need to do this, and he wasn't used to all that.
So my husband has made some very poor choices. He chose to drink, and it led to some volatile situations in our home with violence and some other things. And as a result, he is currently in jail, probably looking at the rest of his life in prison. And although I love him very dearly, I've really struggled with, does God, once we're together, we're together. And I really feel that in my heart. He's sick, and I know it's really important. Like that was one thing we said, we would stick together through sickness and in health. And I feel like mental illness is, all the things he has are classified as illnesses, and for many, many years we had a good marriage. We were happy. And it just goes to show also, how your choices can affect you and everyone around you. I don't know what's gonna happen. We're still very fresh into this situation. I have forgiven him for everything that's happened. I am supporting him, and I know I will always love him. Christ calls us to love people who are unlovable. And I've been really blessed that, I don't know, it must be God in my heart, because I've been able to forgive him. My family has forgiven him, my friends, his friends. No matter what, I always want to support him and encourage his relationship with the Lord. And when I met him, he was on fire for the Lord. And to see someone fall so hard is very painful, but you don't have to stay there, and he hasn't. Like, he's already, back in his word, and he's pretty much who we knew all the time. I think it's just really important that we don't, because I know sometimes it's hard when you're angry or you're hurt, not to lash out or allow that bitterness or hate to foster in your heart. And I think it's imperative that you allow the Lord to do his work in you as well as your loved one. Somehow we're gonna all get through this time, even though it's very challenging. And I think my faith is what has brought me this far and given me the strength I need to get through what we're going through. I like seeing how God works through me, even to change me where I never thought I'd ever be. And I know that's the Lord in my life and in my heart. And if we just let him, he'll work it out for his good, like he promises.
Going into prison, we were married about 6, maybe 7 years. And it was just a marriage, just, I don't know, a downward spiral, I guess. There was so much animosity, me against him, him against me. There was a lot of unfaithfulness on both of our parts, and then not being able to move past that and forgive. I was pretty much checked out of the marriage. Dealing with my mom dying was really the final blow, I guess. And I checked out not only on our marriage, but I checked out on life. After going into prison, Jeremy, after getting out and, us talking now, he reflects that he knew that it was, pretty much over, or thought that I wanted it over, and he just thought it was done. And I don't want to speak for him, but he coped in his own way, made some bad choices that ultimately led to the final breakup of our family unit, our kids getting taken from the home. And for 2 years, relentlessly, I wrote letters, I tried to make phone calls. He did visit a handful of times in county, but just couldn't deal. So for 2 years, I wrote letters and tried to call. There was no contact with the younger kids. I wanted to hate him. And I prayed, just praying for him and just for our family. Then I started praying for, God, just take my love away that I have for him. Just take it away. Just take it away. So, he wouldn't. And trying to grasp that little bit of hope that, this great book that I found in there, the Bible, claimed that we had. So when I got out, there was no, communication with him. He was really in a really dark place, homeless, still deep in addiction, and with another woman. So I was like, okay, I tried, and filed for divorce. Just kind of waited, and he reached out, or through Facebook. There was a message, and we talked a little bit, and I said, there's still hope for you. And I'll never forget the night that he called. I was on a bus back from one of my jobs, and I had, my phone and my earbuds in, and, the phone rang, and it was him, and I could just feel my palms sweaty and my heart beating, and answered the phone, and he said, "Will you still help me?" And I was like, here's the moment that I can just, release all that anger and everything and say, some colorful language. And I heard God say, and I had to look, take my earbuds out, forgive him like I forgave you. And it was I know what I heard, and it was powerful. And I did. And he came to Austin. I really took a leap of faith, left the halfway house that I was living in, went to a hotel. He's, still very deep in his addiction, knowing we're gonna have to go through the, getting better part, and just the fear of trusting again, because that trust was pretty much shattered 2 years prior. But God did. He made good on all of his promises, and that glimmer of hope that I held on to. My grandmother had this saying, she would always say, when you get to the end of your rope, just tie a knot and hang on. And it was something so simple and a cute little country saying, I never really got it until that moment in my life. And it's like when we're just at the end of ourselves and we just tie a knot and hang on to God's promises, not man's. He can just do so many amazing things. And he did. He brought my husband back to me. And now our marriage is wonderful. If we would have just put God first, things would have been so different. I don't know, my main thing is that other ladies know that there's still hope.